Need some change?
No,
Why?
because I'm all out of money!
2022 is a pretty weird year in terms of Ninjago sets. 2021, we had the 10th anniversary, we had the island, we had Seedbound, we even had Ninjago City Gardens, and this year, we had this.
What happened?
But jokes aside, there are actually a lot of really cool sets that came out this year, so let's go ahead and take a look at the best of the best. Now I know this isn't the most exciting set of the year, but it actually was a sneakily good value, and it's all based around these minifigures. The Golden Dragon minifigures are some of my favorite Ninjago minifigures of all time, and this is the cheapest way to get one of those figures, of course being Jay. You also do get every single one of the new golden weapon molds, which is crazy for a $20 set, and you get the Vangstone Warrior, which, while it's not exclusive or anything, it's still a really cool figure in itself. The bike build also, not bad by any means, and I also really liked how the set was actually enhanced by adding the minifigure on top of the build, which is something no other set this year did. In terms of just the build, this might be the best dragon set ever. The shaping of the torso and the legs is really well done, and the attention to detail on this set is very, very clear all over the whole thing. It's also got all sorts of articulation in the waist, the tail, the legs, and of course the heads. And speaking of the heads, this is definitely one of the better multi-headed designs they've done. Although I won't lie, I do think this would be an absolutely perfect design for a 3-headed dragon instead of a 4-headed dragon. But that's beside the point. Minifigure wise, this set is also very good, giving you all 4 of the Golden Ninja and the Oni Lloyd, which regardless of how little they did with Oni Lloyd in this show, it's still a cool figure. But at the end of the day here, this set is $150. Even though this set's really good, it's not $150 good. And to be honest, it's really not even close to making that price point. I feel like this set kinda went under the radar, but I thought it was actually pretty cool. More so than any other set from this year, this set really embraces the aesthetic of its wave. There are trans pink swords, technic beams, and all sorts of other pieces everywhere on the set, and that in combination with the rocky terrain really gives off the crystallized vibe that they were going for, and I think it looks really, really cool. And beyond that, I just really like the way this set came together. The 2 separate structures, they fit in really well, they look great, they honestly fit in pretty much seamlessly with each other. The integration of the 4 golden weapons also worked really well. There are some cool functions mixed in throughout the set, and then of course there are some cool minifigures too. Now, at the end of the day for me though, I think this set kinda went under the radar mainly because it's $80, and at $80, it's like $10 more than I would have liked to see it to be, and once you're spending that much money, there are some bigger and definitely better sets that you can get, but this set was still really cool. And you look at that, it's our first set from the Winter Wave. While this dragon build isn't as impressive as the Golden Dragon, it's still very solid in its own right. Like I've said before, this set feels like it was them practicing to make the Golden Dragon set later on, and as a result, they feel very similar, except for this one is super bulky because of that smaller scale. Still, there's a lot to like here. The wing function works very well, the detailing is really nice, especially in that saddle area, and as a whole, there really isn't anything wrong with this set from a design perspective. And this thing was only $70 compared to the $150 of that aforementioned Golden Dragon. So let me ask you this, even if you're like me and you prefer that other set as a build, do you really think it's 2 times better than this one? Because for over double the price, it should be. This is one of the riskier sets this year in terms of design, and I think it definitely paid off. It's got functions everywhere from the rotating shooters to the detachable drone, and of course the movable wheels that give the set the ability to change its look entirely. Honestly, as far as the build goes, this is truly something unique, and there are very few sets that reach a similar territory, at least in terms of the design. Also, this set does have cool minifigures with Skylar, Mr. F, and of course the Golden Dragon Zane. Of course though, like many other sets from Crystallized, this one is held back by being overpriced at $90. And even though this is one of my favorite vehicle sets they've done in recent memory, it just can't overcome that price point. Fun fact about this set, this is the only set on this list that I still do not own. And even though I don't have this set yet, I can tell you for a fact that this thing is really, really good. I could talk all day about the cool shaping and all the cool piece usages on here, but honestly, I think it's best explained by just this function. I mean, come on, how could you not like that? Also, the Dragon Coal, it's one of my favorite Dragon minifigures. I don't know for sure since I obviously don't have this set, but it's either number 1 or number 2, you know, it's either him or Kai, because, I don't know, this one's just, they go with the gold the best. But once again, it is a little bit overpriced at $35, which is why I still haven't bought this thing, because even though it's one of my favorite sets of the year, I'm not paying these ridiculous prices for them. We're not doing it. Now the Crystal King to me is very simple. If you like the Centaur build, it's a great set. If you don't like the Centaur build, then you're not really going to like the set at all. And for me, I'm fine with it. I do wish the legs had a little bit more detail, but at the end of the day, it's really not that bad, and I think the build as a whole makes up for it. Once again, I really do like the colors that they did for all these crystallized villains, and this set does a really good job of mixing that trance pink, the gunmetal, and the gold all the way throughout, and it just looks really nice. And of course, this one did have some good minifigures as well. Now, out of every crystallized set that came out this year, I would say this is the most important one to have, because even though it's not my favorite set of the wave, the story significance of this one is definitely the highest out of any of the sets. So, you know, if you really want to have the significant set, this would be the one to go for, even though it's not the best set of all time, but it is one of the better sets from this year. So this was the biggest set of the year, at least in terms of the piece counts, and it was one of my favorites. I feel like you can never really go wrong with Ninjago's temples, and this one is easily one of the best ones they've ever done. There are functions everywhere, there's tons of space, there's a mech on the side, and there's a ton of minifigures, and just all in all, this is a really cool looking set. The rock shaping on the front looks really nice. The hidden Samurai X cave, it looks really good. It blends in really well, and I just like the general aesthetic of it. Like, I guess, you know, I could have gone with some black instead of the green, but, you know, that's very nitpicky and it honestly doesn't matter at all. It's still a great set. Also, the little bridge thing with the training center with Nia on the side I also thought was really cool. And unlike some of the other sets from this year, this was actually a great value at only $100 with 1,394 pieces. There's really honestly nothing bad about this set, which is really more of a testament to the other sets that come above it, because this is a very good set, but there are still some that I do like a little bit more. So when these sets first got revealed, I knew that this one was going to be an interesting case, because I knew the design was going to be good, but I wasn't sure about the color scheme. And having this set in person, I can say that the colors actually look pretty good. The red X in the middle, which was the main thing I wasn't really liking in the official images, actually looks not too bad, and the black azure, that always works. So, like I've said before, the design, it's great. It's right up there with some of the best mechs we've ever gotten. There's articulation all over the place, including the knees, making this mech super posable and easy to move around. And we also got a cool little dragon build on the side. And you know I always like that. I like to have stuff out of the box. The problem for me though is that this is the same with every other crystallized set. It's a great set, but it's about $20 more than it should be. So even though the set itself is great, it's just not a good value at the price point. This is hands down the most creative set of the year. I don't really need to explain it so you guys already know, but the 4 combo vehicle function, it's just so well done. All 4 of the vehicles on an individual level are unique and they actually look good. Most of them are honestly good enough to pass as their own sets, especially the Kai mech. That's my favorite one, obviously. The only one that I think maybe couldn't pass is the coal drill vehicle, because the back half is kind of just a frame, but they're all still pretty good in their own right. And then of course, when you combine them all together, that main mech build actually looks pretty good too. The only issues that I've had with this set is that I found it to have some stability issues in the ankles, which can be annoying at times, and the combo feature does make the set inherently a lot more limited articulation wise, but even though it's not the Samurai Mech in terms of posability, this set is still more than good enough, and the combo feature easily justifies those flaws. Honestly, the sheer amount of design work to get all 4 of these vehicles to be able to seamlessly connect with each other in a way that is actually easy to do, while simultaneously being legitimately good standalone vehicles, has to make this thing the best design set of the year. And by the way, this set came in at $90 with 1,104 pieces, which means not only does it have more pieces than the Samurai Mech, but it's also $30 cheaper, which is just insane. So, All in all, great design, great price point. You can't go wrong with this set. It's my favorite set of the year. And that's going to round out my list here of the top 10 sets of 2022. Let me know your favorite sets of the year in the comments. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.